Yes, thank you, Chairman. There is little in the spring budget memorandum that makes us happy. For example, we read that an extra 2.5 billion is being spent on support for Ukraine. 2.5 billion euros, Chairman, extra. In total, the Cabinet is providing 6 billion euros in support just this budget year alone, both military and non-military, to Ukraine. An enormous amount. Almost as much as we spend on social assistance in the Netherlands each year in total. While many Dutch people are struggling to make ends meet, while more than 500,000 of our fellow citizens have to live below the poverty line, while young people can no longer afford a home, this Cabinet chooses to pour billions this year into a war that should not be our war at all, and of which Ukraine itself is the main victim. 6 billion euros. Just as much money, in fact, as is going this year to all Dutch people who have to get by on social assistance. We also read further, Chair, in this spring memorandum that the Netherlands has to pay and contribute more than expected to all kinds of international and supranational organizations, including the European Union, NATO, the OECD, and the United Nations. This is partly caused by the fact that both the US and Russia, very sensibly, have chosen to withdraw from these kinds of international bodies, leaving a financial gap in the budget that, among others, the Netherlands has to fill. Meanwhile, and this is a major concern for us, Chair, the government, the state, just keeps on growing. Even, or perhaps especially, under this so-called right-wing cabinet. Collective expenditures, meaning the percentage of our national income spent by the state, are expected to rise from 43.5% in 2024 to 46.3% in 2033. But this does not yet include the additional spending that this cabinet intends to allocate to defense. If we do include that, then the expectation is that by 2033 almost half share of our gross domestic product will be spent by the government, by the state. Even in the Den Uyl era, collective expenditures as a percentage of our national income remained below 50%. In the wake of this sharp increase in government spending expected this decade, our national debt will also rise from 43% of gross domestic product now to 50% by the end of this decade. So this government is budgeting on credit and passing the bill on to future generations. Generations who will also have to pay more and more in interest charges. Since not only the national debt, but also the interest on the national debt is expected to rise. And all of this, once again, Chair, under the leadership of a so-called right-wing cabinet. So my question to the Minister of Finance is what he thinks about this. Is this minister, who claims to be a liberal, happy that under his leadership the size of the state is increasing so dramatically? Is he proud that under his responsibility the state will soon be larger than it was in the Den Uyl era? Does he think it is desirable that the national debt rises to 50% of our national income? And is he not concerned about the fact that we are spending an ever-increasing share of our income on paying the interest on our national debt? Finally, Chair, and in line with this, I would like to ask the Minister how things stand with this Cabinet's intention to slim down the civil service. This Cabinet wants to structurally cut 1 billion euros from the civil service. By how many FTEs has the number of civil servants changed? This is a concrete question for the Minister. Chair, has this number decreased since this cabinet took office? And why is it still not possible to meet the RUB norm of a maximum of 10% external and therefore expensive hiring? External hiring amounts to no less than 20% of the total wage costs for the Ministry of Finance, which is the ministry of this minister. That's double what is allowed. How is this possible? I would like to ask the Minister of Finance this question. Finally, and what is he going to do about it? We look forward to the Minister's answers. Chair.